puts a smile upon your face, and I see something shimmering.
All right, take 3 on me trying to do this video. I really don't want it to be boring. I want you guys to be interested. It's hard knowing what to film as your first video, so I guess I'll do a little backstory of me and where I came from and why I chose this lifestyle. I was born in Brooklyn, New York. My parents moved to Staten Island when I was younger. I moved out of Staten Island in 2016 and moved down to Florida with $2,000 in my pocket, no plan. I had a full-time job, I had an apartment, I had a car that I was leasing. I had to sell a lot of things in my apartment, and whatever I could fit in my car came down. I lived in that for a little bit until I found something, because it's hard when landlords don't like hearing that you just moved down here and you don't have a job or anything, which is understandable, but it also kind of sucked. I think within 2 or 3 days I was able to find, I stayed at a campground in a tent for about a week or so, and the guy said that you could only stay up a certain amount of days and then you have to be out of his system and then you can come back. So I stayed at a campground in a tent for about a week or 2. Then we found a room to rent and we stayed there for a while. But after a couple of months it started getting toxic. Be careful who you move in with and who you let into your home. In the beginning it seemed fine. It was him and 2 other guys. They were all very respectful. Nothing bad happened like that. But he didn't have the room, and he let this other couple come in, and they changed the whole dynamic of the house. I was working 2 jobs at the time. They were drinking my milk, they were using my food, they were using my pots and my pans. When I left them in the kitchen by accident, I would bring them back into my room. But the fridge that he had in the kitchen, I used the bottom drawer. That was mine. But I guess they didn't understand that, so he started getting it. The owner of the house started losing his mind, and cops started getting called because of the 2 people he brought in, and he was going in on one of his neighbors. So that really pushed me to want to get out. So purchased a 5th wheel, stayed in that for a while. I didn't have a truck to pull it, so I kept paying people to move me around. In Florida, the campgrounds, once the snowbirds come down from November to April, the campgrounds are up to $1,000 or more. I was paying around like $600, and then they were gonna raise it up to $1,000 with no difference. I was still gonna get the same amenities, but I was like, no, that's insane. I was paying $1,200 for an apartment. I'm not gonna pay $1,000 for a slab of grass. So we went out to somebody's farm, stayed there for a while. Then we started getting bored with that. Went over to Tampa. Wasn't too crazy about that area or that campground, and we're like, great, we just paid this guy to move us here. So we stayed there for a little bit and said, you know what? I don't want to stay in this campground anymore. That campground was almost like $800 or something like that. And at that time, I wasn't making that much money I was already struggling, and then having to pay that on top of that, it was just too much. And this was years ago, so just imagine now in this economy and how expensive everything is. So after that, it got into conversion van and did van life for a while. I couldn't really travel because I was working and couldn't really afford anything. But speed up to now, I was in a shuttle bus for about a year or so, and then I jumped into a 31-foot Class C RV, and I pulled behind a full-sized pickup truck, and I love it. I wouldn't say I miss an apartment. I guess I miss the stability, not stability, I don't know how to explain it. But I wouldn't change it for the world. I would live the lifestyle that I love, that I'm living. But with anxiety and depression, it it gets to you a little bit when it comes to traveling, because I'm always worried about, oh, how are the roads? I hope the gas stations are going to be able to fit something as, that I'm what I have. Oh, the traffic, the drivers on the road. You always think the worst when it comes to traveling, but knock on wood, it's all in my head. And I could always say, when I'm having an anxiety attack, if you say that to yourself, that doesn't really change anything. You're still having that anxiety attack. This lifestyle isn't for everyone. Some people like being, working and having a house. Because a lot of people say that, your property value goes up in a house. For an RV, it goes down. As soon as you walk off that lot, like a car, it's half down already. But like I said, I wouldn't change this for the world. I hope you guys decide to subscribe to my channel, or at least check out my other videos when I upload. I plan on uploading at least every other day, every 2 days maybe, because I don't want to upload while I'm still in that area, just for safety reasons. If you're interested in vlogging, never upload where you're currently at, because you never know nowadays. In certain states, nomads are getting attacked. If you don't know what a nomad is, it's somebody that doesn't like to sit still and they're always wanting to go somewhere. Life is too short, and this country is huge. There's 50 states. I want to explore that. I want to see that while I can, because I don't know what happens once I leave this shell, people call it. So while I can, enjoy your life. While I still can walk and move around, I want to do that. Once I can no longer do that, then I'll eventually just stay on a piece of property and start a farm and just grow my own stuff, and whatever happens happens. But till then, I want to live my life to the fullest, as much as I can, before I can no longer. I do have a piece of property in Florida. I'm slowly heading back down over there to see what happened when it comes with the hurricane and the tropical storm and stuff. I was there for the tropical storm, and luckily nothing happened. I'm nervous about this new storm that's coming, because they're saying it's 110 mile per hour winds. And if you're in an RV or even in your car, if you can, get out. I wouldn't even risk that. If it's a tropical storm, yeah, I've stayed in it, and I was on my property, 40 mile per hour winds, and I had trees blocking me, so it wasn't too bad. But you also have to be careful, is if a tree falls on me, that's it, I'm done. There goes the RV. It's made out of wood. But if you're able to, I highly recommend getting out. When we first lived in that fifth wheel, there was I don't know if it was a tropical storm or a hurricane, but I couldn't pull the RV, so I had to leave the RV behind. I had to bring my dogs. At that time, I didn't have Milo. I had another dog. And we traveled up to Georgia or South Carolina and stayed at a campground. There was a whole bunch of people from Florida that wound up over there too, and we stayed in a tent. The only thing we really got was wind. And when we headed back down, I don't know how, or why we left, but we got hit heading down with the storm, and the wind was pretty bad. I didn't really get much damage on the fifth wheel. Our skylight came off, and didn't come off, but it lifted up, and so water got all into the shower and the tub and on the floor. I think one of my seals in the front to the left, I think, opened up a little bit because my clothes were a little soggy, and it had like that musky smell. So you do have to maintain these RVs. I can do a video about that too for you, and tomorrow I'll vlog, but my next video you'll see my RV and how to pack everything up and me heading on the road. I will be boondocking. If you don't know what boondocking is, it's where you park where there's no amenities. So some people think boondocking means that you're out in the middle of nowhere and there's no cell service and stuff like that. That's off-grid. But for boondocking, for me, it's wherever I'm at with no amenities. So I'll be staying at a Cracker Barrel. They do allow overnight parking. Truck stops too, I stay at. And I'm trying to think who else. Home Depot and Lowe's, usually cool too. I never had an issue. But always pay attention to signs. I am on the East Coast, So it's not like the West Coast that has a whole bunch of BLM land and stuff like that. So just keep that in mind if you're from the West Coast and you want to come here, is that you don't have as much opportunity to boondock as you do on the West Coast. I do love the West Coast. I've been over there. I love Quartzsite. I might be going back again this year, next year, to the camping event. It's called RTR, and they have a big tent show. If you guys never been or you're in the area, you want to go check it out, you definitely should. The only thing that's holding me back is the price to get there. It's not cheap. RV living is not cheap, so keep that in mind. If you want to jump into an RV, it's expensive. The gas alone, I was towing a car, so it was around $1,000 or so. So with towing the truck, I think it's going to be at least $1,200, maybe. I'm not sure. But when the time gets closer next year, if I'm going, I'm going to vlog it. You guys will see it. I hope you guys enjoyed this little intro of me, and you guys decide to subscribe and see more of this face and my crazy dogs. But yep, I will see you guys in my next vlog. Bye, guys. I'm just gonna jump in here because I'm rewatching my video to see how it is, because I've been sitting here probably for like the past 10 minutes, or no, not even, probably 30 minutes, just deleting it and doing another video and not liking it and deleting it. I'm nervous, so I say a lot. So if you hear a lot in this video, I'm sorry. Once I start knowing what to film and I have a set thing of what I'm doing, I won't say as much. It's my mind thinks quicker than my mouth, if that makes any sense. So all these words and stuff are like filling up in my head, and I'm trying to like figure out like what to talk about next, and it all like jumbles in, and then I go so I'm sorry about that. So please don't click off of it if I keep saying fun game. Take a shot every time I say I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.
I don't know what it means, but there's a smile upon your face, and I see something shimmering in your eyes. And they say if you want to glimpse the future, you need space. And you said you'll put down your morning guns. Would you follow me to wonders?
Take walk back to your camera.
Walk beside me in a world.
Pick it up to close it out. Shake all the bugs off here. Alright, I'll see you guys in my next video.
I find it hard to not